coming out on top. And now we move to the men's senior race. I'm not sure we can hold out quite so much hope to dominate, but let's hope that one or two of the British men can pull out a really big performance here. But it will be tough. Some good athletes, very good athletes in this race to contend this one. Halusa there, you might recognize his name from the track. As we just go through, there's a British team. Andrew Butchard, who again representing Scotland, Luke Caldwell, Adam Hickey, Tom Lancashire, great to see him back, Ross Millington as well, both of them. Good to see them back in the team. Bezabe will be one to watch, but we'll go through some of the contenders as they get underway. The men's race now. Paula's going to just find a way of counting these laps here. We're going to trust them. Because
there is a lap marker there now. We've worked that out, so they have that there. They only need to look at that, so they should be okay and able to relax on that.
Get dizzy running around here. So the men have ahead of them 2 short laps of 530 metres or so, and then 8 long laps. All adds up to just over 10,000 metres of hard running today. No big hills, anything like that, but it is twisty-turny, difficult underfoot. It's gone from icy and hard ground, still a little bit of that in some of the shaded areas, but that's now, the top surface has softened up a little bit, and we're left with slippy and icy conditions. There's Ross Millington right at the front from the northwest. Tom Lancashire, so good to see Tom back. Butchard, he ran a great race against Callum Hawkins at the British Trials, and well, they've good to see them set off nice and confidently in the early stages, but not too much pace on here. I think we'll get these. I think the idea is to get these 2 laps out of the way. And, you know, and I think it's a good idea, Paula, to be a little bit able to see and feel your way around these first 2 laps, and then try and settle down a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the practicalities are that they probably have to do the shorter laps first, because if they were to put those in at the end of the race, the amount of lapped athletes would be that much greater. So that's why they probably do that then. But it does give the athletes just a chance, like I say, to settle, to get a feeling for the way the course is. Although immediately we see Arakan of Turkey there, who would be one of the favourites, already at the front and pushing the pace on hard.
Well, the Turkish athletes, a little bit familiar to us, of course, on the track and cross-country. Track last year, Kaya, you may remember giving Mo Farah and Andy Vernon something to think about in Zurich. And we've also got Arakan, who's our early leader, who is very well known to cross-country fans as well. So, familiar names. Not sure I'd be attacking it this early. Bezabe also going with him. Early, isn't it, to forge on?
It is early, but maybe just an attempt, given how queued up this course is, given the number of laps. If you're not in a good position from the beginning, then it's probably quite hard to move through. Certainly in a race like this, we can see Kaya just further back there now, and he has left it later to move through. And we'll see, does he find that difficult to move through the bodies in front of him and be able to close that gap?
Not unusual for Arakan, though. He's done this before.
We've seen him on the track
go
out
success.
Extremely fast over the first lap of track races, and then pay the price. So yeah, it's not unusual for him to misjudge a race. Probably more unusual for Bezabe to do so, although he is doing what you need to do in cross-country racing, which is react to what happens in front of you, and you can't really let gaps open up. You need to be able to cover them and stay in contact.
Bezabe ran pretty well in Spain in preparing for these championships back in late November. He finished, I wouldn't say close 4th, but he was behind 3 or 4, well, Ugandan, Eritrean and Kenyan, but Timothy Toretich and Emmanuel Bet were ahead of him, so you know, it's a good line for him to take with his form, and he looks full of running, doesn't he, already, Bezabe? But I still think this is brave running, given there are some good athletes back there. Probably not the strongest field we've ever seen in the senior men's. I mean, obviously the likes of Farah not here. Mo will be running in Edinburgh in the new year. Of course, you can see that on BBC. Look forward to that one. May well be similar conditions, who knows? But it's still early. It's still early for me.
It is. It's very early in this race, and it's already asking questions that we see now. Kaya has made his way through that field, and he has judged this race a lot more evenly in the opening stages, and he's almost back on level terms with that. They can argue that maybe he's used a little bit more energy to work his way back up to these two, but he also, particularly in a course on a course that is at some level of altitude, he will have lower levels of lactic acid building up in his system than the two athletes who've really attacked and gone out hard at the beginning.
Well, the two former Kenyans from Turkey already begin to dominate. Look at Kaya, he had the slowest start, and that won't help him either, because he's run a silly lap here to catch up to them. And maybe he's thinking, well, I can't afford to let them go. He may well be right. So Kaya now joins them. Arikan, Bezzabeh, these three moving well clear. The likes of Chukwud in the orange vest of the Netherlands. First British athlete at the minute is Andrew Bouchard, who's in about 8th or 9th place as we look back. We'll get the chance to look back. Well, this is broken up very, very early. Big group contesting the chase, if you like, if we can call it a chase. At the minute, they're not chasing anything. They're watching these three run away, but it may well become a chase later on.
Yeah, and it's also quickly developing almost into two races now, with this front three already away. You could almost say the medals seemingly disappearing, and then there will be a race for second, and that's the danger, is that pack then start watching each other rather than trying to race together to move forward back to the lead three. But I do think it's very early for these three to be moving away, so hopefully we will see changes later in this race.
Well, Bezzabeh is the defending champion, and so he should know what he's doing. But I do think it's a day when you just have to be a little bit cognizant of conditions, and not just underfoot, but as Paula said, that we are at a little bit of altitude here as well. So Arikan, as ever, willing front runner. Bezzabeh will be delighted to have him helping pull three of them well clear of the field. I'm not sure they're pulling away anymore, though. I think the field is, if we listen to Paul, I think, well, no, we can't just hang around here. So 7 more of these bigger laps to go. Now you can see the names there: Mo and Chukwud, El Mazuri, Ross Millington right up there, Bouchard also. So good to see the British athletes getting involved. And well, you just never know, you know, if you work with that group, one of these gets it horribly wrong today at the front. It's Kaya wants to move alongside his teammate. I mean, they look as though they're running very, very strongly, but this is still very early in this race.
Yeah, they do look as though they're running strongly, but you can also see that the group behind it is really strung out now, and they are starting to work on closing that ground at a more even pace and at a more gradual pace, which may in the later stages serve to their advantage. One advantage of the three being clear is, of course, that they have now free choice of where they run on this course, and I don't think it's got a huge amount worse, this course now, because it is, as I say, looks more like wet mud rather than the sticky mud, so it isn't getting hugely worse with the amount of athletes running over it. Certainly the junior women had the best conditions of the day.
You're the sort of person, Winnie, you're the sort of person who would get like 3 different buckets of mud and kind of go, well, that's dry mud, that's sticky mud, and that's wet mud, wouldn't you? And then decide which spikes. I'm the sort of person who would turn up.
Also then decide how you run on it, because sticky mud saps your legs a lot more. You need a lot more leg strength and power. Wet mud is just uncomfortable, but it doesn't really slow you down, and it doesn't affect the pace that they're running at. And I think that's what they've got here today.
Well, it's certainly not slowing these three down. You probably saw the caption going through there as we did. Great Britain currently in 4th place in the team race, but all of that will change, and hopefully if they can run strongly in the latter stages, a medal in the senior men's would be good. We've managed I think only the junior men have not picked up a medal so far today for Great Britain. There's Moen, who's been trying to get the group back. Chukud leading that group as well. And that's just starting to break up that chasing group, isn't it? So they're a long way behind these three.
Yeah, I think you're just starting to see now that chase group settle a little bit almost, and as if they have accepted that the medals have gone and it is now a race amongst themselves. A little bit earlier it was more strung out, but now they seem to be bunching and looking at each other a little bit more and wanting people to work together to be able to make up some distance, and I think that gap is growing to the lead three.
Well, we've got two former Kenyans running for Turkey, we've got a former Ethiopian running for Spain, and it also should be mentioned that Bezabe also served a 2-year ban. He was part of that operation that swept up a lot of the Spanish contingent over a period of time. And the rules are that he's back and running, of course, and given everything that's going on in the world of athletics at the minute, it's never going to go away, the issue. And I guess the main thing is that we rely on our federations, rely on WADA to get to the bottom of all of these matters, whether it's what's going on in Russia or in Kenya at the moment, and try and give us more of a level playing field. And I think also there's this issue about transferees. You know, we've got an election going on, obviously, for the new president of the IWF, for which Seb Coe is one of the main contenders, and I know it's something that he's quite vociferous about as well. You know, in the European Championships, there's absolutely nothing wrong with people genuinely being part of, but if it's countries just offering citizenship in order to win medals at the championships, then that's another matter entirely. But to be fair, in Bezabe's case, he moved to Spain a good 10 years or so ago now. I don't think all necessarily just for athletic reasons, but anyway.
I'm not sure that's the case with the Turkish athletes.
Turkish Federation have actually targeted Kenyans and other nationalities to come and run for them.
Yeah, and we've seen it with the likes of Bahrain as well, where there's even been allegations of actually going out there and buying a team to come and run for you, and that's what I think we can't have. We can't have that happening, and it muddies the water, and it just confuses things in a way that we need our sport to be transparent, to be clean. We need to be able to watch things and really know what we're watching and have faith in that. And I think that's why we need the federation to step up and really take steps towards that.
Yeah, and there's two issues there. I mean, Bezabe moving to the fore, then he'll say, look, I served my ban, and but it's not just that aspect. It's this idea for me of just making sure that we're fairly strong as a lot of other sports are, on your ability, on your national team, who it is to run, who you run for, and nobody wants to deny athletes the chance to compete at a world level, etc. But and of course in Britain we have offered flags of convenience, if that's what you want to call them, although I guess UK Athletics would always argue that it's been done well within the rules. It's just, I think for quite a lot of us, some of those rules maybe need to be tightened up a little bit. It's got to be a stronger commitment over a longer period of time to your new country before you start competing for them. I think that's the best way of putting it.
Absolutely, and I agree with you there.
There's Carvalho moving to the front, another man who's done well in these championships in the past, but they're a long way behind. There's that chasing group, and that's a big group now, isn't it? And that's where the team race will be won and lost, and it's good to see Ross Millington up there. There he is, and then Bouchard also there. It's really Adam Hickey in there as well. It's really, for me, it'd be great encouragement for the British senior men to win a medal in the team race here.
It would be, but Turkey at the moment are looking strong. There's at least one more Turkish athlete in that following group, given that there's two away in the lead three here. So I think they are really threatening to figure right up there in the team event. Now we're just seeing really kind of swapping of the lead amongst these three as they continue to forge further and further ahead over this course. They established themselves very quickly away from the rest of the field, and now they're just taking turns almost, as it were, at the front to keep that momentum and to keep that rhythm going before they really start racing over the last couple of laps for actually the spoils and the victory in this race.
5 laps to go, just over 5,000 metres, 5,500 metres of running left in these testing conditions here, but certainly these three are making it look almost like a World Cross Country Championships here. The distance they've put between themselves and the rest of the field. Bezzabeh of Spain, Arakan and Kaya for Turkey, Carvalho 30 seconds behind. That's a massive gap at this level. Chukud, good to see Ross Millington. A bit of time Ross was spending all of last summer trying to get himself back into shape, and he's continued that progress into the winter season. Great to see him running well here. There he is, looks strong, doesn't he? Andrew Butchard behind him. Adam Hickey was very close to that little group there. And just looking for Britain's 4th counter. If they are to win a medal here, those three going well. 4th counter may have been Luke Caldwell. Just needs to be strong, try and pick up a few places. Not sure where Tom Lancashire went to. Tom ran really well in the trials. I'm not sure this would suit Tom's action here.
I was just thinking that. I'm not sure this is going to suit Tom at all, but one thing I do know is that Tom will give it his absolute best shot out there and keep fighting all the way through. We see the team scores flashing up there, and currently 5th position, which is good, and I think they will continue to improve and move forward on that through this race.
Well, 10 points, that's nothing, and between those three countries there was Italy, wasn't it, France and Great Britain. The messages will be going out there. If you see a blue vest, hang on, France running white. Okay, if you see a white vest or a blue vest, get yourself in front of them if you can, because it could make all the difference. Well, the lead has been swapping hands. The only one who hasn't really pushed at the front has been Kaya, the man who tried to take on Farah and Andy Vernon in Zurich at the European Championships. It's been really Arakan and Bezzabeh who've been a little keener to push on here. They're going to start lapping lots of runners as well, Paula, which is that's going to help them, to be fair, isn't it? As long as they get out of the way, of course, and don't cause any problems. Particularly on the last lap, that's the only time it can get a little bit confusing for people.
Yeah, it can get confusing. It can get confusing, especially for the lapped athletes as well, to know exactly where they are and how many laps they have remaining in the race, and they're going to need to keep concentrating. But when they're already 31 seconds ahead of 4th place with 5 laps to go, then, and the lap is only taking less than 4 minutes a lap.
Yeah, there's no doubt about this. What I was really on about was if you start sprinting on the last lap and you're looking for room with the three of you together, and then you find a lapped runner in your way, it can be it's not as much of a problem as it is on the track, but it might just be something to watch out for. Arakan looks like he's working hard to me. Bezzabeh looks a little bit more comfortable. Kaya's been very happy just to let these two work between them. Ploughing their way through this top surface. Don't forget, they have 8 of these big laps, so they've done half of them. 4 left to go. And a big lead for these three. 30 seconds at the end of the previous lap. Be interesting to see where that's, well, it isn't going to disappear, as you were mentioning, Paula. It's just not going to happen. We wondered whether the three of them were setting off a bit quickly, but it's just that I guess the three of them, I'm a bit surprised that they're that much better than everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised that everybody let them move away so quickly. I'm wondering, I mean, it's roughly the same there, but I'm wondering whether there was just a little bit more fear to go with it in the minds of, I'm going to say, the European athletes out there, that maybe they couldn't handle the altitude conditions there quite so well. They were a little bit scared to set off really hard, and that is the way that the Kenyan athletes and the Ethiopian athletes, and that is whichever country they're running for, that is the physiology of these athletes, that maybe they can cope, they maybe were born at altitude, they can cope with that a little bit better, can cope with putting a little bit more lactic acid into their systems earlier in the race, and sometimes that can make the difference here. And I think that the other athletes have been afraid to push too hard in the early stages, and they're going to maybe try and move through and run more evenly over this race.
And let's not forget that despite the fact they're running for Turkey, they do spend a lot of their time training in Kenya and getting the benefits of that preparation. But of course, that's where we send our British athletes now. Now that's now looking closer, isn't it? On the end of that previous lap, that's now, instead of 10 points, it's narrowed. I wasn't sure that we were holding our positions quite so well, to be fair, but still packing well. And Nick Woods will be delighted, hoping that the men, and as I said, I think it will be a massive boost for our men's endurance program. You know, Mo leads it brilliant well. With a bit of miss not to have Andy here. He hasn't been racing this winter season, Andy Vernon, because he would make a heck of a difference. Of course, ran so well in these championships last year. Andy Vernon set himself up for what ended up being a brilliant summer for him. Not at the beginning of the summer, it looked like it was all going a bit horribly wrong, but turned out excellent for him at the European Championships in Zurich. So without Andy and without Mo, if the team were to come away with something, that would be really good.
Yeah, that would be very good, given that, like I say, that we don't have our top two contenders there, and it would be good, wouldn't it, to see them all come out and just to see exactly where we could figure with our strongest possible team. But still, the guys out there are really acquitting themselves well today and coping with tough conditions, testing conditions.
Well, if you're just joining us on this Sunday morning, is it still morning? No, it's now afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. And it's been a great day of cross-country running already here in these testing conditions in Bulgaria. Borovets, this ski resort, acting as the host. I should technically say Samakov, shouldn't I? That's the city that's the host, but 10 kilometers above at altitude, slight altitude here. We've seen everything really. Very icy and cold at the beginning. The sun's come out, warmed things up, softened the course up, made it tricky underfoot. It's been tricky all day long, and conditions have changed, and they had to change the course to try and ensure safe passage, and thankfully, apart from one or two little mishaps, everyone seems to have got round fairly safely, although I'm sure we'll hear some stories afterwards of the odd twisted ankle, etc. But these three in the senior men's race, last race of the day, and as soon as I mentioned that, what do you get? That's Chardy as well. Now he's done brilliantly in here before, and very good runner, Chardy. Probably wishing he was back on the track, to be fair. Yeah,
not happy there, and what he's done is slip and hit the ground quite hard, and hasn't had long enough spikes probably in, but when you go down like that, it does, I mean, obviously it breaks up your rhythm and it's really hard to recover from, and he wasn't too keen to get back into his running very quickly there.
Just wondering whether that's one of the reasons why the French team have struggled. Chardy has won a silver medal in this race in the past. I'm just looking back down the list back in 2012 with silver in the under-23, so definitely not his day today. And for him not running well will affect the French team, because he's a major component of their team normally. Well, we've got a real race on now, haven't we? Nothing really changed at the front while we've been talking, but you just sense that Arakan now trying to do his best to get rid of Bezabe, who's looked comfortable for me all the way, and Kaya, as he has done for the last 10 minutes or so, just sat behind these two. I'm not sure I could say he's hanging on. I think he's running fairly strongly now. Look at these team positions there. Great Britain now 2 points. Just these last stages of the race here. Great Britain with a chance. France suffering, I'm pretty sure, because of Chardy. And Great Britain in a real tussle for the bronze medal with Italy and France. Spain looked clear for the silver medal, but Just a couple of more places, that would be good.
Just 2 points either way, 2 points away from third, but also France only just 2 points behind, so really, really close. And if I'm out there on that course screaming at our boys out there, you've just got to be saying, any French or Italian best, you just need to get ahead of them and just put as many bodies, if you like, in between yourself and them as you can at this stage. But they're all doing that. They're all trying to get their absolute best performances out there, and they're fighting for every place, and they will know that they'll be getting a lot of information and encouragement from the other members of the team, as well as the team management out there.
Ross Millington, the leading British athlete, Andrew Bouchard, Adam Hickey in there, Luke Caldwell, and they're joined by Tom Lancashire and Tom Way. That's the full British team. That's every single place now, literally every single place, because one place for you knocks your total down by 1, and of course it adds 1 on to either the Italian or the French. So that would be all it would take. If they're tied on points, it's where your 4th place finisher is that will determine where the team prize goes. So we'll try and keep an eye on that as much as we can. But here's the battle at the front, still no change. These three from the very beginning have been dominating, and it's been Arakan who's had to try and make the pace here. Bezzabeh, apart from a very brief period, has not really been interested in leading it. But look at this, Kaya now just watching and waiting, just wondering whether Bezzabeh was going to go past. He doesn't. So 2,200 meters to go, 2 laps. That's not far, Paula. Normally, in fact, in many races, the laps would be closer to 2 kilometers a lap almost. So you're almost into last lap territory here. Yeah,
I think you are, and in their minds, I think they are, and they certainly now will know this course very, very well. The amount of times they have been round it, they know where is the best place for them, where they're going to make moves, and where the other 2 guys in that group will struggle. So they will have taken all of that data, if you like, and processed it to put into this closing effort to try and win this race. And this is where we're going to see now moves and surges made. And just to clear up, as they are lapping so many athletes, I think the danger people watching at home will be thinking, well, what's to stop one of these athletes running in behind these guys when they do go into the funnel and taking a 4th place when they've actually missed a lap. And they are running with chips on their shoes, so that will, if anything like that does happen, they will be able to go back over that data and work out who has run however many laps. So hopefully something like that won't happen.
And they do have a manual backup as well, normally. Except I can tell you, I was covering Singapore Marathon last week, and I won't even go into what happened there, but yes, anyway. Bezzabeh for the first time pushing on, Arakan and Kaya. Maybe Bezzabeh, he's lost out in sprint finishes in the past. He is the defending champion, and he is strong, and he probably thinks that's his best chance. I think he'd be worried about Kaya in particular in the latter stages. Well, the 2 former Kenyans and the former Ethiopian running for Spain and Turkey still locked together, and although he moved to the front here, Bezzabeh not able to break things up at all.
Still very little to choose between them, and even looking at the expressions on their face to try and maybe distinguish who might be hurting any more than any of the others, they all look very, very relaxed and very composed.
Well, again, if you weren't with us earlier, you could almost say that these 3 people here maybe highlight some of the problems our sport is contending with at the minute. Bezzabeh, 2-year ban himself, came back last year, won this title, and looks as though he's contending again for it. All 3 of them transferees, and the transferee system, something which certainly needs to be looked at as well. But they're here, and they're contesting this, and they will head round one final lap, which surely will decide where the medals go here, who gets them. It's between these 3, obviously a long, long, long way ahead of the rest of the field. We're hoping the British men can continue running strongly and get into the medals here. Turkey will undoubtedly win the team race, and Spain look clear in the silver medal position, but can Britain nick a bronze ahead of Italy and France? Keep an eye on that one. What do you reckon here, Paula? Kaya is, I'm I'd like to say that he's looking confident, but I'm not sure he is. I think he is working hard to stay with them. But if he does stay with them long enough, surely his confidence will pick up.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, certainly of the lead through he's done the least work in this race so far. He's really had not an easy ride, but he's been able to hang on the back, and so maybe he will have that little bit more in reserve if it really comes down to a final sprint. It could come down to a very, very close one, given how we saw how close it was in the women's race, but with 3 in the mix, it could be that little bit more. Just the way Kaya takes some of the turns and goes over some of the muddier sections, he doesn't look quite as uncomfortable. He throws out his arms a little bit more, but like you say now, just as I say that, he actually looks good and moves up there to make sure that no real gaps are opening up at all in this. It's staying very, very close.
Well, he heard the bell, like any track runner, that lifts you a little bit, and Kaya, when it came to the bell in Zurich last year, couldn't hang on to Mo Farah and Andy Vernon. He gave a good account of himself though, and certainly here could be the big threat for his teammate Arakan. Bezzabeh is strong. I don't think has the quickest finish, Bezzabeh. And look at Arakan and Kaya now, they're forging on here. And Arakan probably knows his teammate might just have a little bit extra speed, but you made a very good point when we were watching Gemma Steele and Kate Avery about sprinting on this surface is not the same as sprinting on the track. But Kaya certainly looks as though he's got this covered. It's just whether or not he's got enough speed and can turn on his speed, can utilize his speed in the last 150 meters or so.
Yeah, the question was asked there by Arakan, and immediately Kaya could respond to that, and that little gap has opened up to Bezzabeh, and these two really, I'd say, are away now, and you can just see there Kaya a little bit less comfortable on those slippery sections, but very little to choose at this point.
Well, you've got to say Arakan doing his best here. He knows what he's got to do. Kaya slipping and sliding and struggling with the ground, but doing his best to hang on to his teammate here. His teammate in both respects, both Kenyans running for Turkey now, and just a few hundred meters to go, and once more Arakan off the back of that hill there, just uses the downhill to try and break it up again. Kaya hanging on, another slip, the two of them. When you, as I said, as soon as you try to run faster on this surface, this is what happens. And because when the quicker you're going, and you can see there Britain now slipped out, that's bad news, slipped out of a team position, bronze medal position, maybe just dropped 2-3 spots, and now 11 points away from a team medal. Could change on the last lap, of course, but that's going in the wrong direction for Great Britain. Okay, Paula, I'm going to throw this to you. What do you reckon, Kaya? Or should we wait and see?
I think we're going to have to wait and see, definitely, because I really don't know with this. I mean, certainly I think in Turkey you'd say I doubt whether they've seen conditions like this before, but I'm just thinking to the times when I have been out in Kenya, and obviously not as cold as this, no snow on the ground, but when they do get torrential rain, they do get a lot of mud to contend with like this, and they actually choose not to go out and train. So I'm not sure how much experience they have on these conditions, but certainly we're seeing a battle here. Arakan is doing everything he can to try and break Kaya.
Around 150 meters to go in this men's race. Kaya, the man who picked up a bronze medal at the European Championships on the track last year, trying to take on his teammate. Has he got the kick? Has he got the sprint? He's not going to get there, or is he? And now he comes again in the last 20 meters. Can he do it? Arakan trying to hang on. Arakan wins it. Kaya has to settle for the silver medal. Another great race. We saw a national battle in the women's senior event. That was Great Britain, and it was only a metre between the two, and that's been replicated here in the men's race. Arakan wins the title for Turkey, and Ali Kaya, the 20-year-old who could have contested the under-23 race, came into the senior event hoping he could win it, has to settle for the silver medal. I think he'd probably be reasonably happy with that, although I have to say, if he'd said beforehand you can be 2 meters away from him with 100 meters to go, he would have thought he could outkick him. But as you very rightly made the point, as Ross Millington just crosses the line, you very rightly made the point that sprinting on this surface is not the same as on the track, and Arakan came out on top.
Yeah, I mean, I think what we can say certainly here today, given the closest finish probably in the senior women's race and the senior men's race in this event's history, is that these conditions have been an extreme leveller, and where you might be able to make up a lot of ground quickly on firm ground, you can't so easily on a course like this and on surfaces like this, and that's what's been reflected here today with great races and exciting races.
One exciting finish. Turkey won 2 and they will win the team race as well. Great Britain, I think good runs from Ross Millington. You saw a really good run from Ross. Adam Hickey looked like he was second. I just think because the likes of Andrew Bouchard look as though they faded in the latter stages, we will slip out of the team race. Nasty, man who we're watching had a pretty good year this year, leading the Italians to either a silver or a bronze. Definitely a team medal for the Italians. But I suspect, more than suspect, I'm pretty sure that Britain have just slipped out of the medal contention in the team race, in the senior men's race here. There's Andrew Bouchard, and I think it was him, it's not him to blame, it's a tough day out there, but he just slipped back a little bit. Luke Caldwell coming in, and that means that they will miss out on the team race. I think Tom Wade just crossing the line.
Yeah, I think, like you said, Steve, it just takes one athlete to be slipping backwards to the point when others are moving forward to make such a big difference.
Not sure where Tom Lancashire is out there, indeed, whether Tom is still out there, to be fair. I haven't seen Tom cross the line, but really close. And there's Meftar as well. Well, he must have probably kept going for his team, and well done if he did. I think France, there's Tom Lancashire, so he did get round safely. Not sure, it's going to be very close. Have to wait. It could well be Spain and Italy behind Turkey, I think. Well, we'll get you the results as quickly as they come through. You'll see them same as we do. The official results, no doubt about the individual prizes. Arakan takes the gold medal ahead of his teammate Ali Kai, who takes silver. Bezabe, the defending champion, has to settle for the bronze. Carvalho finishing 4th. A great run by Ross Millington. That's an excellent run for him. Adam Hickey in 9th place. Well done to him as well. The two of them doing well. And if that could have been backed up, then certainly a team medal would have been there. But I think, pretty sure that the Italians there with Razin and Nasty doing well. Mefta finished well for his team, but I think the French will just miss out. Tom Lancashire, apologies Tom, did well to get in a counting position. I think he must have finished, will have finished ahead of Andrew Bouchard, who just faded in the latter stages after having attacked the race in the first 3 or 4 laps. And there we can see he faded to 35th position in the end. That means Britain's 4th counter just too distant really to contend. Luke Caldwell and Tom Wade 40th and 41st. And look at Chardy there, Hassan Chardy. I think the French team between Chardy and Mefta just seen the team or 8 team medals slip through their fingers, or probably slip away in the mud, as we saw with Chardy.
On the good side, if you turned your ankle out there today, just go and find one of those streams and stick your foot in it, and you've got a ready-made ice bath waiting for you there. But yeah, I think it's tough and testing conditions, and Chardy there certainly looked like he had turned his ankle early or in the closing stages of that race and managed to finish on it, which is tough to do, and maybe means that the injury actually lasts a little bit longer than it might have done if you'd stepped to the side, but just reflects what athletes will do for their team in that situation.
Yeah, well, the conditions have certainly been one of the main features of the day. It always is in cross country. You know, that's the joy of it, isn't it? The track should always be the same, should always be 400 meters round, and surfaces can vary very, very slightly. But cross country, you can get all sorts of different types of courses, and that suits different runners in different ways, and how you contend with that is part and parcel of the event.
Absolutely, and here in just in the space of today, from Jess Judd going in the under-20 women's race first thing to this final race of the day, we've seen how much this course has changed and evolved, and how the athletes have had to deal with that.
Yeah, we're just going to tidy up a few results here. There you can see confirmation, Great Britain, not that far away, but it was Italy who finished the stronger on that last lap there, and they got ahead of France. Spain remained clear in 2nd place, Not too far in the end away from Turkey, but it was Turkey who took the gold in the individual and in the team in the senior men's race. Well, we would like to...
Accompanied by CEO of Star International. Dr. Gordon Campbell. Third place and bronze medal winner representing Spain. Alemayehu Bezabe. Twice winner from the past, getting the bronze today. Second place and silver medal winner representing Turkey. Ali Kaya. Last year he was the junior champion. This year he is the senior silver medal. And the winner, gold medalist and the European champion 2014, representing Turkey. Poland, Campbell, Aritan. Last year silver, this year gold. And the difference between the top two was 0.3 of a second. Ladies and gentlemen, now please raise for the national anthem of Turkey.
Дами и господа, моля изправете се за националния химн на Турция.
Congratulations to our senior men medalists, two runners from Turkey, and the bronze for Spain. We saw a very exciting finish. Once again, 0.3 of a second was the difference between the first and the second.
Великолепно състезание при мъжете с разлика само 30 секунда с 10 км финално бягане. Али Кая бе победен от неговия приятел и съотборник полак Кембой Аритан. Трета позиция
Ahmed El Mazuri, Patrick Nasri, Marwan Razin, Paolo Tanata, and Stefano La Rosa. Second place and silver medal winners, the team of
второ място и сребърен медал. Отборът на Великобритания.
Hey! Composed by Andrea Abadia, Roberto Blake, Ivan Fernandez, Manuel Margut, Daniel Mateo, and the individual bronze medalist, Alemayo, Verstappen. First place, gold medal winners and European champions 2014, the team of
Zlatne medalki europejski šampioni odbor na Turčija.
Turkey. We have two individual medalists, of course, Poland, Tempo, Larika, and Alikaya, along with Serep Kirlis, Vedat Güven, Ramazan Özdemir, and Cihat Ulu. And now, please, ladies and gentlemen, race for the national anthem of Turkey.
Дами и господа, моля изправете се за националния химн на Турция.